Hi, happy Friday. Welcome, guys. I am so excited to be here. I love Fridays. I absolutely love talking to you guys about useful information that I think can really, really help you in your health and fitness goals. So, if you don't know me, my name is Jen. I am a fitness and lifestyle motivation coach, and I have been doing this for over 13 years. So that there's a little bit of validity for you. And I just want to start by saying I'm going to be talking today about Dr. Fung, who wrote the obesity codes, kind of some of his theories, and I'm going to break them down for you so you don't have to read through the science, and I'm going to make it pretty simple for you. Hi, Instagram. I'm trying to stream on both. So here I go. I'm going to do my best I can. Hi, Katie. So just bear with me. I'm going to try to break it down as quickly as possible, but I do want to make sure I give you a disclaimer right now. I am not a doctor. I'm not claiming to be. I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not claiming to be. I am simply a fitness and nutrition person who helps people get their weight loss goals met and get fit. So I've been a trainer for over 13 years, and that's what I specialize in. I'm not a doctor. Okay, there, that's out of the way. Let's dive in, you guys. This is super fascinating sciencey stuff. So Dr. Jason Fung is an expert in obesity, and I obsess about him. I spend a lot of time researching for my clients. It's really important to me to be educated in all of this, so I'm going to share with you today how to reset your internal fat thermostat. How does that sound? So that you can break through those plateaus, get rid of all those the cultural diet culture of calories, and understand it's all about hormones. And before I get into it, I want to make sure you understand I'm going to skim over the insulin and leptin part here because I did do some videos on leptin and insulin on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in finding more about it and getting more sciencey with me, you can go over to my YouTube channel and find that. But today I'm going to focus and get this done in under about 12 minutes. I think I can do it then. Hi, Gloria. Good morning. So please stay focused with me. Stay with me. Let me know if you have questions because I'm going to just go for it right now. Thanks for your hearts. It lets me know that I'm resonating and landing with you guys. Okay, so let's talk about this example of what's called a negative feedback loop. So a perfect example of a negative feedback loop is a thermostat in your house. So what happens with your thermostat in your house? Now stay with me, this is a great example so that I can help you understand what your body does. The thermostat in your house sets your temperature at 70 degrees, right? When it gets cold, it adjusts so that it stays at 70 degrees. And when it gets hot, it adjusts so that it stays at 70 degrees, a negative feedback loop. Well, guess what, you guys? Our body has the same thing. It's totally the same thing. It's a body set weight. It's a real thing. A body set weight is where your body likes to be and likes to stay all the time. And it is really actually interesting because it defends it very vigorously. Like it very vigorously defends that body set weight. It has a negative feedback loop. So let me tell you a little bit more about that. Stay with me. So what that means is, evolutionary wise or just genetically, what we're designed to do is stay at a healthy weight. And the reason why is because if we're too fat, we can't outrun a predator. We can't chase our food down and kill it if we're too fat. We just can't. If we're too skinny, we're going to die in the winter because we don't have any storage. It's really simple. So our body is designed to really keep us at this body set weight. So if we get too skinny, our body says, ooh, slow down that metabolism, slow down that metabolic rate. We're scared. We're going into this mode here. Okay, hi, Instagram. Does that make sense? Now, what happens if your body gets too fat? What happens? What do you guys think happens? Your metabolism goes up. Your body wants to get back to the body set weight naturally. That is your natural, hormonally, perfectly balanced, set weight, negative feedback loop. That's the natural thing. What's happened, you guys, is we hijacked that loop. We've hijacked it. Our culture has allowed us to hijack it. I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you why. So let's just go back to the thermostat for a minute. So let's say this thermostat is at 70 degrees. Okay? Let's say our thermostat is at 70 degrees and you're like, gosh, I really want it to be 68 in here. So I'm going to bring in an air conditioner. I'm going to go get an air conditioner from the store. I'm going to plug it into the wall, and I'm going to try to lower the temperature of my house. So you lower it, and it gets to like 69, and your thermostat keeps kicking on to try to get it back to 70, and you keep plugging away at that air conditioner. It's still 69, and you're like, wow, I really want it to be 68. So then you go and get another air conditioner. You plug it in and you're like, oh, let's get it down to 68. And the thermostat's going, no, I want to be 70. So it kicks back it up, keeps kicking it up, constantly fighting. Guess what happens with what we do with our bodies in the yo-yo diet cycle? The same thing. Check this out. So say you're 180 pounds and you really want to be 160 pounds. So what do? You hijack the system because you drop your calories and you decide, oh, I'm going to eat 1,400 calories a day and I'm going to get myself down to 160 pounds. That might work for a little bit, and you all of a sudden 170 and you're like, wow, I'm really starving, I'm starving, I'm miserable, I can't sleep, my hair is falling out, I feel like crap, but I'm still got a lot of willpower and I want to get to that 160, so I'm going to drop more calories because calories are what count. Completely false. So then you do it again, you drop even lower, and what happens? Your body, just like that thermostat, you guys, says, I'm shutting down. I am done. I'm going to lower my metabolism. I'm going to put the brakes on because I'm going to vigorously try to get to my body set weight, which is 180 pounds, just like your thermostat. Is that landing for you guys? Please tell me if it is. Does that make sense in your brain? You got that? All right, so now you're probably going, Jen, that's awesome. But how do I change my body set weight? Because all we've learned to do over the past 30, 40 years is we've learned to hijack it. And that's why we're in this vicious yo-yo diet cycle. That's why when you finally lose the weight, thanks for letting me know it's landing. That's why when you finally lose the weight, you guys, it just keeps coming back because you haven't dealt with the real issue. And guess what the real issue is? It is not calories. It is not calories. It is only hormones. Did you guys get that? And guess what the most important hormone is? Insulin. Insulin rules fat loss. It will help you break through any weight loss plateau you have. And that's what I coach my clients in. It's not about calories, you guys. You've got to get disconnected from that. They do not matter in that way. There is not a metabolic process that has a receptor site for a calorie. There's not. There's a metabolic process that has a receptor site for all different other things, but definitely not a calorie. A calorie is based in physics. Your body is physiological. They don't mix, you guys. It doesn't make sense. It's an antiquated system. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to break through that. There's 3 different ways. I'm going to keep it super simple, but first I'm going to tell you about your hormones. So I like to call these, I want you to have a fat snack, not an insulin snack. So what happens is in our culture and our society, we should eat 50% carbohydrates, whole grains, and we should eat 6 times a day. I don't know where that came from, but that is a bunch of bull, and it's going to just keep making you fatter. It's going to just continue to keep making you fatter. So what happens is when we eat those extra carbohydrates, we get insulin spikes and we become insulin resistant. The more insulin you have in your system, the fatter you are, the bigger your fat cells get, and the more you break down the neurotransmitters that actually tell your body to say, I'm hungry or I'm full. Because when your body's fat and you have too much insulin, what happens is your leptin says, stop eating. It's your chemical that says, stop eating, you're done. So then people go, well, why am I overweight and still hungry all the time? If that's true, I'll tell you why. Because just like with insulin, you become resistant to it. There's so much insulin in your body, you become resistant to it. And then you become resistant to leptin because there's no more ability for your body to have a receptor site because it's been inundated with it for so long. So then you become a fat hungry person and you're in this vicious cycle again. All right, so there's that cycle. So let's figure out how to hijack it back. Right? So the best way to hijack it back is to keep your insulin levels low for long periods of time. Let me say that again. The only way to get your hormones back in balance is to keep your insulin levels low for a long period of time. So every time you eat something, if it has any type of a carbohydrate in it, it spikes your insulin. Your insulin levels go up. So we've been taught that we should eat whole grains, which spike your insulin. I don't care if it's whole grains, donuts, white sugar, it's still going to spike your insulin. If anybody tells you differently, it's not true. It's going to spike. It's going to give you an insulin increase in your body. Well, if we're eating 5 or 6 times a day, we're spiking our insulin all day long, every day. All that does is make us fat and hungry. It's terrible, okay? So what we have to do to hijack that back and get back in balance is not, I'm not going to say it's a quick fix. A lot of people come to like, I want to lose weight right away. It's not going to happen, you guys. If your body set weight has been up at 180 pounds for the last 30 years, it's going to take a lot of time to readjust and re-hijack that back so that you can get to a body set weight that's normal again. Does that make sense? So people come like, I just want to work with you for 30 days. I just want to do it for this amount of time. No, it's going to take 5 to 6 months. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a long process to get your hormones back in balance. But it's the process that will lower your body set weight so that you don't have a vicious yo-yo cycle for life. And you can finally break free of it. That's what I do. That's what my clients do. That's what I do. So let's go back. I'm going to give you more tips. So the first thing is to keep your insulin levels low for the longest amount of time as possible. This is a great way for you to break through that plateau. If you've got 20 pounds that's just hanging around, if you've got 10 pounds that are just hanging around, this is the way to do it, you guys. Okay, so keep your insulin levels low. Stop eating any sugar. Stop eating any carbohydrates. I mean any. And I always preach moderation. Yeah, I preach moderation when you've reached your goal weight and you can have a little bit more insulin sensitivity. But when you're insulin resistant, carbohydrates and sugars in any form, that includes fruit, you guys, is not your friend. Stop eating it. When you eat oil, if you just pour oil into your mouth, there's no insulin response. If you put an entire bag of nuts in your body, there's very little insulin response. If you eat a piece of salmon, very little insulin response. If you have your typical American breakfast with your oatmeal and your orange juice, guess what? Your insulin's through the roof. And then you go and have your healthy Subway and your insulin's through the roof. And then you're snacking all day on crackers and things like that. Your insulin stays high all day long. So stop eating it. Stop. The next thing you do, don't snack. This is really interesting. Think about what your grandmother would say, or like your mom even, or my mom, like just 3 square meals a day. And you went to your mom and you're like, I'm hungry. Well, wait for dinner. After dinner, you're like, I'm hungry. Well, you should have eaten more dinner. Okay, just go back to that. It's pretty basic. So stop snacking. The 6 times a day thing is bull. It actually does more damage to your body than you could ever imagine, and causes you to snack on insulin, which means you're snacking on food and you're never burning fat. If your insulin is low, you can burn fat because your body will use fat as the snack instead of food as the snack. Got it? So you could be eating 1,200 calories a day. That's great, but you're still not going to change that body set weight. It's going to be that vicious cycle for you. That's why you keep gaining weight and you keep lowering your metabolism by lowering your calories. It's a vicious cycle. Believe me, I've done it. And that's why, you're having low energy, you're feeling crappy, you're moody, you probably don't sleep very well, your hair might not be the same, your skin might not look right. All these things start happening, right? Okay, I promise to keep this under 10 minutes, and here I go again. If you guys are here and this is landing with you, will you please let me know? Give me a high five, give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart, do something. Thanks, Instagram, for giving me some love. I appreciate it. But tell me you're here. And if you have questions, let me know. So, okay, so we're not snacking. We're keeping our insulin really low. And the next thing is we're going to try to go longer between meals. So if you have an insulin resistance problem, if you're overweight in any form, you're overweight, you have an insulin, thank you for that thumbs up. You have an insulin resistance problem. I'm sorry, you do. You've got a hormone imbalance. You need to fix it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen with time. Okay. So the next thing is you've got to go longer between meals in order to do that. So I'm going to give you a quick tip. A lot of people ask me about intermittent fasting, and I think that it's great. I do. I think if you're insulin resistant and you need to change that, I think it's a great way to start. Now, you don't have to think about it as being scary. It can be a little bit more logical if you think about it in terms of smaller scale fasting. So fasting makes people immediately go, can't do that. Relax. Just let me explain something to you. The best way to do it is at night. So, for instance, last night I ate dinner at 5 p.m. I'm done. I'm not snacking. I'm done. Okay? Done. I have my tea. I have some more tea right here. This is green tea I'm having this morning. I had some peppermint tea last night. Okay, so now guess what? It's almost 10 a.m. and I haven't eaten anything. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, I might be a little bit hungry by 11. I might have some water. I might try to stretch it. Who knows, depending on how my day goes. But I've already given myself almost a 16-hour fast. Gives your body plenty of time to snack on fat as fuel instead of food and insulin spikes as fuel. Make sense? So it doesn't have to be as daunting as you think it does. Big fasting, I can't eat for 24 hours, I can't eat for 3 days, whatever. People do crazy stuff. It doesn't have to be that crazy, you guys. It's a really good way to ease into it so that you can really start to snack on fat and not use those glucose snacks or those insulin snacks by constantly eating and constantly feeding yourself. Plus, it helps you start to detach from that obsession with food, which is what I talked about in my webinar. And if you guys missed that, I'm going to be doing it again. So, and when I say obsession with food, it's like our culture is obsessed with eating all the time, all day long. And that's what causes our obesity. It does. And so what they've told us about calories is completely antiquated. What they've told us about how we're supposed to fuel our bodies is completely antiquated, and in my opinion, very much pushed out there by the food industry. Of course, if they're telling you a calorie is a calorie is a calorie, it's a lot more lucrative for Sarah Lee to be telling you that, because a calorie of Sarah Lee is not the same as a calorie of kale. I'm really sorry, you guys. It's just not. Metabolically, it has not the same response in your system. And again, your body does not have a receptor site for a calorie. Your body only has a receptor site for these hormones, these metabolic processes. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it here unless you guys have some questions. I might not be able to see them. I see a few of your comments here, and I appreciate you for being on. Appreciate you for coming on this morning and joining me live. If you have questions, please leave them as thread, and I will respond to them. And Instagram, if you want to head over to my Facebook page, it's called Thrive Tribe, and I can put all the questions here. But I will be uploading it into my YouTube channel later today. So please let me know if you have questions. Also, I'm sorry I went 5 minutes over. I apologize. I talk a lot. Hopefully you found this useful. If you feel like this can help someone, if you feel like being generous today, being a guiding light, and sharing this information, let me know, or just hit share, or even go over to my YouTube channel and hit share. And if you're interested in finding out more about leptin and insulin, I've got some videos there that are very helpful also. Okay, so check it out. And again, if you have questions for me, PM me, instant message me. I always want to help. That's my job. So if you guys are also interested in finding out about my one-on-one programs or my Thrive in 5 method 60-day program or my 5-month program, let me know. Hit me up and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Get your insulin under control and stop snacking. Okay, bye guys.